Thank you, Councillor Ainsley and committee members for having me speak to you this morning. My name is Nas Yadollahi, President of CUPE Local 79, where we represent 30,000 workers at the City of Toronto across major divisions. I'm here today to address the 2022-2023 Annual Human Rights Report from the City's Human Rights Office. Before I move on to the serious concerns raised by this report, let me first start by explaining how complaints can come to the HRO from our members and from other unionized workers at the city, and how unionized workers this can negatively impact them. In theory, the HRO was established as an unbiased service created to address human rights complaints as they pertain to the City of Toronto. We have been told numerous times that the HRO attempts to address work issues from a trauma-based perspective. In practice, however, the office can be lacking and its processes are flawed. For years, we have raised issues about the inefficiencies of the HRO and its negative impact on our staff. Workers experiencing discrimination or harassment are often forced into a system that produces no positive outcomes, prolonging their suffering. Even worse, once an HRO complaint is initiated, employees are barred from accessing the union's grievance process until that process is complete, leaving them without the support and representation they would otherwise receive from their union. This delay leaves harmful workplace conditions to persist, further undermining their health and safety. Now to the report at hand. The inability of the office to investigate any of the approximately 2,400 inquiries received over 2 years is a failure of the city's responsibility to uphold human rights and workplace fairness. In the context of workers who have launched a complaint and no longer have access to that process due to severe understaffing of the HRO, that is truly devastating. At the beginning of this calendar year, when we met with the city's People and Equity Division for a routine meeting. In this meeting, we were provided insight into a specialized internal investigation unit, also known as the IIU. We've been seeking clarity about this investigation unit ever since. Over the course of the past year, we learned that the IIU, which exists only to investigate City of Toronto staff, employs former police officers who during their time with the Toronto Police were in charge of investigating for the SIU. We have heard from our members that this unit often employs techniques that we know would be used in a police-style interrogation, throwing papers, banging on tables, and asking repetitive and sometimes aggressive questions. You can imagine just how concerning it is to learn that the HRO has been unable to tackle any new investigations, and that instead the city's People and Equity team is relying on divisions and on potential internal or external investigators like the IIU to resolve human rights complaints. In fact, between March and April of this year, the People and Equity team at the city has filled 3 separate vacancies for investigators in the IIU, which begs the question, if the HRO only has 7 staff and has been unable to take on new investigations, why was the decision made to invest more money in a certain type of investigator with the IIU? This report is deeply concerning to Local 79. Any proposed changes must be developed in consultation with workers and their unions to ensure they're effective and actually trauma-informed. This includes Local 79 and 416. The current risks identified in the report reflect a broken system that needs to prioritize equity, accountability, and the well-being of employees above all else. I also want to reiterate that there is an increased need for accountability and transparency for the People and Equity team at the city in the way that the HRO is managed. Thank you, and we're happy to take questions.